Hello everybody, welcome back to Steins Gate. I am the Worm, and this shouldn't really change how you view the series or anything, but for me personally, I've actually been away for over a week, and so not much has actually changed. It's just I went on a trip out of town. So as I said, you probably wouldn't have noticed, but the last few episodes on this here playthrough of mine were actually recorded in advance, and I was trying something new where I set them to automatically be, well, not uploaded, but to, when they would switch from private to public. So that's what I did for the last few episodes, and it seems like it worked out. At least when I got back, I saw that people were still commenting, and it looks like they were uploaded just fine. So I'm going to give myself a good thumbs up for that. But it has been a little while, so I had to kind of review what had just been going on. So forgive me if I'm getting some of the details off. Last time, we started what I believe is the Lukaku arc, after finishing the Ferris arc. And so, because of that, we've started to learn a bit more about what exactly this particular D-mail may have changed. So of course we got the confirmation that Ferris's D-mail has been reversed. We know that the IBN was donated to this shrine by Ferris. I believe there was a particular comment made by Okabe that Lukaku seems to be more aware of the IBN than she originally was when she was a boy, before her D-mail was in effect. So, and of course we got those scenes last time where whenever the IBN was mentioned, she suddenly got very nervous. So clearly, as a result of her being a girl, again, we're not sure about the particulars here at the moment, but clearly maybe she was in another place at another time. Maybe it's something like, this is just a hypothetical. Maybe because she was a girl, she was able to get into a conversation with Ferris that she wasn't able to when she was a boy, or something like that. And so she learned about the IBN, or was nearby when it was stored, and who knows? Maybe Lukaku has taken it somewhere, or maybe Lukaku, I'm thinking something like accidentally broke it, or basically I'm being led towards the belief that Lukaku is the reason why it is not in the storage at the moment. That's the thought. So that's what we got, and so just more general thoughts about what happened last time. We told Kurisu everything, which it seems to be something we do every now and then, or something that Okabe does every now and then. Just when he feels stuck, just tell everything to Kurisu and hear her advice. That seems to be a pretty good bet at this point. Which, I'm all for, to be honest. I think at this point, Kurisu has shown herself to be quite dependable. So, and even if she hadn't before this point, I've said, several times that I'm all for bringing other people into the discussion, rather than worrying all about it yourself, that sort of thing. So yeah, we're going to, as part of that discussion there was the whole idea of whether or not we need Lukaku's consent in order to try and reverse this D-mail that we sent. But really, that whole conversation is kind of sidelined due to the fact that Okabe doesn't know the pager number to reverse the D-mail, the pager number of Lukako's mother. So I think Okabe was going to do it anyway, but at this point he has to talk to Lukako to get that number, and so he's very likely going to explain the situation. So, yeah. In any case, even though I didn't tell you guys ahead of time, I hope you'll excuse me for maybe not being too quick to reply to some comments, things of that nature. It's just, I've been away, so, but I'm back now. And now I know in the future that I am able to do this sort of thing again, where I can just schedule my uploads instead of having to do it more close to the time I would release it anyway. Okay, let's get into this. As always, there are only a few worshippers at the shrine. I guess that's how it can keep its dignified silence, even though it's less than a 10-minute walk from Akihabara Shrine. No, Akihabara Station, rather.
Okabe-san.
Hello, Lukako. Lukako is sweeping the courtyard.
すみません。さみだれは部屋に置きっぱなしで。
I'm sorry. I left Samidare in my room.
いや、そのことはいい。
No, that's okay.
そうですか?
Really? Well, crap. Now that we're face to face, I can't bring myself to tell her the truth.
どうかしましたか?
Is something wrong?
そう。
Well, I recall Lukako's crying face. She looked very sad when I called her a guy. If possible, I don't want to make her cry again. No, why am I acting so weak? I can't stop here. I swore I would do anything to save Mayuri. And when Lukako said he wanted to be a girl, he probably only said it out of curiosity. If I explain everything properly, I doubt she'll refuse to become a guy again.
ルカ子よ。
Yes? I grab her by the shoulders and pull her close. Lukako's cheeks instantly turn bright red. Okay. What are we doing here, Okabe? Where are we going with this?
落ち着いて聞いてくれ。実は、お前は本当は。
Of course, you're not going to be able to say this correctly the first time. Okabe has never been able to say something correctly the first time. At least it feels like it. That's probably a bit of hyperbole there, but it feels like he just cannot word things very well at first. Please listen carefully. The truth is,
男だったのだ。
you used to be a guy. I mean, from Okabe's perspective, that's not incorrect to say, but okay, let's just keep going. You used to be a guy. I don't think I read that. There we go. No reaction. Or so I thought. Then tears start welling up in Lukako's eyes.
またそんなこと言うんですか?
You're saying that again? Damn, I made her cry again. But this time I don't back down. Again, this is probably not always the case, but this is the same exact feeling at the beginning of Fayrus' route. Well, it wasn't the beginning of Fayrus' route, but it was in Fayrus' route where we went to her after we time leaped, and we said we were trying to convince her to take the sunglasses and the earplugs, and he just was not able to word it correctly. This feels exactly like I just want to say, okay, look, bud, go back, time leap again. You screwed this up. Okay. But this time, I don't back down.
聞くんだ。お前が男に戻ってくれなければ、マユリの命がないんだ。
Listen, unless you turn back into a guy, Mayuri will die. Like, just, I would have said something like, I don't know. First, you need to convince her of we need to convince her of the time leap machine and the time machine in general. Do that first. Tell her about world lines, all that stuff. And then introduce this idea of her, used to be a guy, or so. Just, it feels like the way he's done it is just way more trouble than it's worth. Although, who am I kidding? He screwed up the thing with Ferris, but he was able to do the job regardless, so who am I to say? Like, just watch. This will probably end up working, even though it's crazy. Listen, unless you turn back into a guy, Mayuri will die. I explain everything. Okay. About time travel, about the D-mail Lukaku sent, about Mayuri's fate, about how to avoid it. I talk and talk without pausing for breath. Finally, I'm done. I wish he would have done that before saying, this stuff.
冗談ですよね。
You're joking, right? Her voice is trembling.
そんなの全然信じられないですよ。
I can't believe any of it.
いつもの京馬さんの設定ですよね。そうなんですよね。
This is more role-playing, right? You're being Kyoma-san, right? Right? She backs away from me, shaking her head.
でもひどい。そんな設定は僕困りますし、まゆりちゃんも悲しむと思いますから。
I don't like that backstory. It hurts, and I think it would hurt Mayuri-chan too.
いきなりこんなこと言われて困惑するのもわかる。だが全て真実だ。俺は何度もあいつの死の場面を見てきた。
I know you're confused hearing this suddenly, but it's all true. I've witnessed her death countless times.
お前にはこんな勝手なお願いをしてすまないと思っている。だが頼む。マユリを助けるために男に戻ってほしい。
I'm sorry. I know I'm being selfish, but I'm begging you. To save Mayuri, I need you to become a guy again.
冗談だって言ってくださいよ、岡部さん。
Please tell me you're joking, Okabe-san.
男、僕が男の子だなんて、そんなのそんなの嫌です。
Can't possibly be a guy. I don't want to be.
僕は生まれた時から女の子だったのに、そんなのひどいです。
I've always been a girl, ever since I was born. This is cruel.
しかも から伝えられなきゃいけないんですか？
And why do I have to hear it from you? Of all people.
恥ずかしい。甘いです。
So embarrassed. This isn't right. Lukako covers her face with both her hands to snuff out her sobs.
恥じることなどあるものか。むしろ俺にとってはお前が女である方が違和感がある。
What's there to be embarrassed about? I have a harder time thinking of you as a girl anyway. Man. Okay. Just pile it on, huh? Lukako jerks like someone poked her with a cattle prod. Her crying has stopped. What did I do?
そんなに
That's how you... of me.
何なんて言った？
What? I couldn't hear you. She lowers her hands and looks at me. Then she smiles, a soft, sorrowful smile.
岡部さんは僕のことをそんな風に思ってたんですね。
So that's how you think of me. Then Lukako shakes off my hands and runs away.
ルカ子、待て！
Lukako, wait! She doesn't stop even when I call her. She disappears into the shrine office. Okay, so wait, let me think again. Okabe is how old? Isn't he, what was it, 19 or 20? Something like that? I get it, you know. He's younger. He's not a kid. He's a young adult. And, of course, he's under a lot of pressure. He really wants to save Mayuri, and fair enough, the whole time travel thing is pretty insane and hard to wrap your head around at times. But really, it's just hard to think he lacks, you know, this much self-awareness. And just, I don't know. Is it hard to believe that with his personality? Maybe it's actually easy to think of that. I don't know. I'll have to think about it some more, but it was hard to watch regardless. That was definitely hard to watch. She disappears into the shrine office. It's hard to listen to as well. It turned out just as my mental simulations predicted. I sigh and leave the shrine dejected. I need to come up with a plan. Yeah, a plan would be good. Rather than no plan at all. Just say everything and say it poorly. A few of the comments that Lukako made there almost seemed like Lukako might... Let's see, let me go to the ones here. So that's how you think of me. It sounds almost like, and that was in response to, I have a hard time thinking of you as a girl anyway. This is obviously just first impressions here, but it sounds almost like Lukako may have had almost like something like a crush on Okabe, at least in this world line. And if that's the case, that adds an extra layer of awfulness to this whole conversation, on top of it already being very awkward. You know, he said, yeah, he says, I explain everything about time travel, all that stuff. Well, clearly you didn't explain all of it, or you didn't explain it very well, or just the fact that you said all of it. People can only digest so much information at once, so even if you did explain all of it, Lukaku obviously didn't. Because remember, you gotta remember, Okabe, you're from a different world line from this particular Lukaku, and thus the Okabe that Lukaku knows is a different Okabe from you, and so obviously her hearing the Okabe she thought she knew say these sorts of things, and also, of course, that event that happened, what was it, a week or two ago, where you, grabbed her, that's gonna, it just, all of it at once is just, yeah. I just feel like I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of excuses for the guy, but it's getting hard. Okay. Let's have Kurisu set him straight. When I get back to the lab, I take Kurisu out to the bench and explain what happened. Kurisu listens with an annoyed expression the whole time. When I finish, she glares at me and says, "You raised a flag."
お前は何を言っているんだ?
What are you talking about?
わかんないの？どう見てもフラグ立ったでしょ？いや、すでに立ってたと言うべきかも。
Don't you get it? You raised a flag. Or I guess you could say you tripped over a flag that was already raised.
フラグとは死亡フラグのことか?
You mean a death flag?
死んでどうする？恋愛フラグよ。
Yeah. She knows. What? It's a romance flag, genius.
No.
A romance flag?
漆原さんはあんたに気がある。
Urushibara-san likes you. Kurisu thrusts her finger at me.
大好きな法王院京馬からお前は男だったと言われて彼女の純真な乙女心はズタズタ。
When her beloved Hoin Kyoma told her that she was a guy, it tore her pure maidenly heart into tiny little pieces.
率直に真実を話すって作戦は結果的に大失敗だったことになる。
In other words, your plan was a massive failure. She sure is calm when it's my neck on the line.
恋愛となると厄介よ。あれには方程式が存在しない。人の感情は計算できない。あまりに未知数だわ。
Love is trouble. There's no formula for calculating people's feelings. Too many unknowns to solve for. She shakes her head like she can't imagine anything worse. Has this girl never been in love? Maybe she'd... I'm not sure about that. But whether... I'm not entirely sure what stage it would be at this point, but... Or whether even if she recognizes it. But I'd say there's hints.
正面から攻めるのはダメだった。きっと本人を説得するハードルは飛躍的に高くなった。
The direct approach was a mistake. It'll be even harder to persuade her now.
今度は別の解放を考えるべきよ。彼女のお母さんに直接話を聞きに行くとか。
You should think of another way this time, like asking her mother directly.
彼女を泣かせた男としてあんたはすでに漆原家に認識されているはずだから、家族のガードも固くなってるかもしれないけど。
Though I'm sure the Urushibara family already thinks of you as the man who made their daughter cry. So they might have their guard up. Lukaku likes me? I don't want to believe it. I mean, I appreciate the sentiment, but...
ちなみにルカ子はいつから恋愛フラグビンビンだったと思う?
When do you think I first set off that romance flag?
知らんがな。
How should I know?
だってよく考えてみろ。あいつは1週間ほど前まで男だったんだぞ。その時点から 好きだったのだとしたら
I mean, think about it. Lukaku was a guy last week. If he already liked me at that point, then... Uh-oh.
それは岡部の主観でのロジックでしょ。
That's just your perspective.
漆原さんなり私なりの主観からすれば、彼女は最初から女の子だった。だから別に違和感なんてこれっぽっちもない。
From everyone else's perspective, she was always a girl. It makes perfect sense.
今いるこの世界線を基準に考えなさい。
Think in terms of the current world line. Thank you, Chrisu. My goodness. I've been wanting to tell him that. But he always has trouble. Right. It makes perfect sense. Still.
それより私が不安なのは
Anyway, there's a bigger problem.
漆原さんの性別を男に戻すことで本当に IBN5100 は戻ってくるのかっていうこと。
Will changing Urushibara-san's gender to male really bring the IBN 5100 back?
前の世界線とは変化があった。
Something is different from the previous world line.
ルカ子の父親の話では IBN5100 は少なくとも以前は柳林神社に存在していたということだ。
According to Lukaku's father, the IBN 5100 was definitely at Yanabayashi Shrine.
鈴葉がフェイリスの父親に託し、彼の死後にフェイリスが柳林神社に奉納した。
Suzuha gave it to Feiris's dad. After he died, Feiris donated it to Yanabayashi Shrine.
その流れは俺が IBN5100 を手に入れた世界線と同じなのだ。
That sequence is the same as on the world line where I obtained the IBN 5100.
段階的に元の世界線に近づいてきてるっていうことか。
So, you're gradually approaching the original world line.
思ったんだけど、世界線ってそう簡単に変化するものじゃない気がする。
You know, I've been thinking, you really shouldn't be able to change the world line so easily.
なぜそう思う？
What makes you say that?
だって世界には60億以上の人間がいるのよ。
I mean, there are over 6 billion people in the world. There's a lot more now. What was it? Did this come out in 2009, 2010, I think? It's 2023 now. I know there's over 7 billion. Is it over 8 billion now? And just recently, I believe... Well, I don't know how recently this happened, but I remember reading it recently. China used to be the most populous country, but I believe India has overtaken them just recently. Well, again, I read that recently. I don't know when precisely that occurred, but yeah, there's a lot. Although I feel like I've also heard... Oh, you know what? Let's not go on a tangent. Let's stick with Steins Gate. Let's keep going.
その中の誰か一人の性別が男から女に変わったところで世界線が大きく変わるなんて不自然。
It doesn't make sense that switching a single person's gender could cause such a huge change in the world line.
鈴葉が言っていたが、タイムリープによって本来と異なる行動を取った場合、ダイバージェンスは変わるとしても 0.00001% だと言っていた。
According to Suzuha, taking different actions after a time leap will only change divergence by around 0.00001%, if at all.
だが、フェイリスの D メールを否定したときは 0.05% の変動があった。
But when I canceled Feiris's D-mail, there was a 0.05% change.
0.05% でも十分大きい。
0.05% is pretty big.
天音さんはこのことについてなんて？
What did Amane-san have to say about that?
2010年はアトラクタフィールドが大きく分岐する年であり、その鍵は俺と IBN5100 が握っていると。
The year 2010 is a major attractor field junction, and the key is whether or not I obtain an IBN 5100.
IBN5100 5100と岡部の距離がダイバージェンスの数値を決定するのかな。
Maybe the divergence meter actually measures your distance to the IBN 5100. Wow. That's such a more mundane and actual... It feels more physical than the sort of abstract just divergence we've heard before. That's interesting. That's an interesting idea. Just the flat-out distance from you to the IBN. Huh. I'm not sure if that's true, but it's certainly interesting.
つまりあんたを含めた全ての人間の D メールがバタフライエフェクトによって IBN5100 のありかに影響を与えた。
In any case, what you're saying is that all of the D-mails we sent had an influence on the IBN 5100's location somehow?
D メールの中には俺のリーディングシュタイナーが発動しないものもあった。
There were also some D-mails that didn't activate Reading Steiner.
逆に言えばリーディングシュタイナーが発動した D メールだけを取り消していけば IBN5100 はあんたの手元に戻ってくるのかも。
So just cancel the D-mails that activated Reading Steiner and the IBN 5100 might come back to you. I'm pretty sure that's already the plan. The remaining D-mails were sent by Lukako and...
桐生萌香か。
Yes, she was definitely one of them. I don't want to see that woman again if I can help it. In any case, I should focus on Lukako right now.
で、ルカ子の件はどうすればいい？
So, what should I do about Lukako?
付き合っちゃえば？
Just go out with her. Oof. That's a big oof there, Kurisu. That feels... I mean... I felt like I was going to mention this during the previous conversation with Lukako, but I thought I'd just leave it maybe till the end. But I might as well bring it up now. But we're getting to this whole thing with time travel ethics here, or lack thereof, I guess. It's the idea that, you know, if it's all going to get erased eventually, you know, what does it really matter about what sort of actions you take, you know? This was a little bit of that conversation last episode where we're talking about whether or not we actually need her consent, if she's never gonna... It's not even that she won't remember, it's that it wouldn't have happened. You know, it's a bit mind-bending in a way. And this goes, you know, if you're trying to get more philosophical about it, it's the means versus the ends versus means, you know, that sort of thing. And so, at least just from what Kurisu said, it sounds like what she's saying is go out with her under false pretenses just in order to get the information so that we can undo the D-mail. And that, I mean, it's quite pretty cavalier. It's yeah, that my first reaction to reading that was one of, I don't know, disgust might be a bit too extreme a word, but certainly I recoiled a bit when she said that. Just go out with her.
マジで?
Seriously? Yeah, I could tell Okabe's kind of not feeling up to it either.
好きな人いないんなら別にためらう必要ないでしょ?
If there's nobody you like, then there's no reason not to, is there?
そうやって彼女の心を解きほぐしてあげればいい。そしたら心よく教えてくれるんじゃない?
Get close and help her work through her feelings, then she'll probably tell you what you need to know.
マユリが死ぬのは2日後だ。のんびり解きほぐしている暇はない。
Mayuri dies in 2 days. I don't have time for that touchy-feely stuff. Suddenly, Kurisu's expression turns grave.
これは最後の選択肢として考えておいてほしいんだけど。
only consider this as a last resort.
やろうと思えば漆原さんの人格を否定して脅してでも番号を聞き出すこともできる。
If you're willing to hurt Urushibara-san, you can always take the information by force, and then we go a step further. First, it's, whether or not we need her consent. Then it's potentially trying to utilize her feelings and date her under false pretenses. And now this is just the final form. If we're really going to be erasing what has occurred, what's to stop you from just doing something like this? This is the... We're very much getting to the ultimate sort of ends justify the means right here. This is the... I could see the... Okay, let's just keep going.
どうせ世界線改変後はそのことを彼女も忘れてるはず。そう考えれば最後の手段として検証する余地ありだと思う。
She'll forget after the world line changes, won't she? In that case, I think it's a valid option.
マユリが死ぬことに比べたらまだマシってレベルだけどね。
But only when compared to Mayuri's death.
私今すごく最低なこと言ってるな。
I hate myself for suggesting this. And yet, you suggested it all the same.
いや、あらゆる手段を講じるのは必要なことだ。
No, you're right. I need to consider every possible option.
だがそれはできればやりたくない。
But I don't want to do that if there's any other choice. I'm not saying this for myself. From my perspective, when the world line changes, everything until that point becomes undone. But what about from Lukako's perspective? What if this world line continues after I leave it behind? Yes, that same question is raised over and over again. The Lukako of this world line will have to live with what I did to her. That possibility exists. Suzuha said that's not the case, but there's no way to be sure. There's also just the fact that even if it is undone, and it's a sort of single timeline situation, but even if it's undone and no one else remembers it, you will remember it. And if you become the person who's able to do something like that, if your humanity is chipped away bit by bit, it's that sort of thing where, okay, you may be able to save Mayuri, but at what cost? Is it at the cost of your own humanity? Will you even be able to care about anyone else if you go down that path? That sort of thing. And since I can't confirm or deny that possibility, I don't want to use Kurisu's last resort. Well, that's good to hear, at least. Besides, I have the time leap machine. And as long as I have it, I can repeat the days before Mayuri's death forever. Of course, there's still the danger of a time leap failure, which has never happened once so far, but you never know. In any case, the first thing I should do is have an honest talk with the girl in question. Are we gonna time leap first? I don't know. I hear the tweeting of small birds outside the window. It's nice and cool early in the morning, even though it's the middle of the summer. Too bad the cicadas are already chirping. Is it the Umineko? No, excuse me, the Higurashi. Is it the Higurashi that are chirping? The sunlight's not too strong yet. I couldn't get a wink of sleep. I was up all night thinking about Lukako. Ocarine? Oh, there you are. Mayuri enters the room and looks at me with a disapproving pout. She didn't say Tuturu. It's rare to see her in such a bad mood. Oh, look at this. Look at this angry Mayuri face. It's enough to make you run in fear, I feel. My goodness. Good luck, Okabe. I don't know how you're gonna make it out of this one.
早いな。まだ8時だぞ。今日は何かあるのか？
You're early. It's still 8 o'clock. Something happened today?
オカリンに怒りに来たんだよ。
I'm here to scold you, Okarin. She gives me a glare that's more cute than frightening. What are you saying, Okabe? That is a face of a demon. Or an Oni in this instance. I mean, if she stares at you, it's good that she's looking away and not directly at us here, because I'd probably faint. She's never been very good at getting angry.
あのね、マユシはオカリンにがっかりなのです。
Mayushi's very disappointed in you. Mayuri puffs out her cheeks and thrusts a finger at me.
何の話だ？
It's not polite to point, Mayuri. What did I do?
しらばっくれてもダメだもん。オカリンってば、ルカちゃんを泣かせたでしょ。
You can't fool me, Okarin. You made Luka-chan cry, didn't you?
なぜそれを？
No, you fool. You admitted it. How did you?
ルカちゃんに相談されたんだよ。男だったって言われたって。
Luka-chan told me. She said you said she was a guy. Damn. Those two are close friends. I should have known Lukako would go to Mayuri first.
オカリン、なんでそんなひどいこと言ったの？
Okarin, why would you say such a mean thing?
マユリには関係ないことだな。これは対機関に関わる重大な機密事項であり。
Mayuri, it doesn't involve you. This is a serious, confidential matter involving the organization.
関係なくないよ。ルカちゃんはマユシーのお友達だもん。
It does too involve me. Luka-chan is Mayushi's friend.
話してくれないならね、マユシーはオカリンと絶交だよ。もうラボメンもやめちゃうんだからね。
If you don't tell me, we're not friends anymore, okay? I'm gonna quit being a lab mem. Wow, this is pretty serious here, Okabe. Tread carefully. This is the first time I've ever seen Mayuri so angry. I'm not sure how to deal with this, honestly.
ねえねえ、どうしてあんなひどいこと言ったの？
Although, good on Mayuri for, looking out for her friends. That's a plus for her. So why did you say such a mean thing? I did it to save you. But I can't say that. I don't have it in me to tell this innocent girl that she's fated to die in just 2 days. Come to think of it, was it a mistake to tell Lukako about Mayuri's murder? I did make sure to tell Lukako not to breathe a word of it.
何か悩みがあるんだよね。
You're worried about something, aren't you? She's sharp. Even though she never seems to be thinking anything.
わかるよ。だってね、マユシーは毎日オカリンのこと見てるもん。
I can tell. I've been watching you longer than anyone, Okarin. You gotta remember, Okabe, intelligence and wisdom are not the same thing.
それにね、昨日も外でクリスちゃんとずっと話し込んでたでしょ。
And yesterday you talked with Christian for a long time, didn't you?
悩みがあるならマユシーも聞くよ。
If something's wrong, you should talk to Mayushi too, okay?
マユシーにも話してほしいな。ね、それでね、ルカちゃんに謝りに行こう。仲直りしに行こう。マユシーも一緒に行くから。
I want to help too, okay? Now, let's go apologize to Luka-chan. Will you do that for me? Mayushi will come too, so let's...
オカリン。
やれやれだな、マユリよ。この俺が悩みだとバカも休み休み言え。
Come now, Mayuri. Me? Worry? Don't be ridiculous.
この俺は狂気のマッドサイエンティスト、法王院京馬だぞ。この俺に悩みなどない。
I am the insane mad scientist, Ho in Kyoma. I have nothing to worry about.
あるのはただ混沌への渇望と野心のみだ。
All I have is the hunger for chaos.
オカリン。
I can't tell Mayuri I can't. Even if Mayuri hates me for it. Oh. Okay. We got a message. From Lukako. Okabe-san, I have something important to talk to you about. Please come to the shrine when you can. I'll be waiting, please. Something important, what? Well, this definitely feels ominous. I told her everything yesterday, including about Mayuri's death. Yes. Perhaps after sleeping on it, she finally decided to believe my story. Wow, that would be convenient, huh?
よし。
All right. I get up from the sofa.
どこ行くの？マユシーの話はね、まだ終わってないよ。
Where are you going? Mayushi's not done talking.
これからルカ子のところに行ってくる。
I'm going to Lukako's.
本当？謝りに行くの？だったらマユシーも。
Really? You're going to apologize? Then let Mayushi come too.
いや、お前について来られるといろいろ面倒になる。
No, that will just make it harder. I put my hand on Mayuri's shoulder.
だから留守番を頼む。
Please take care of the lab while I'm gone. Mayuri's shoulders droop. She looks sad for some reason, but she lets me go. Hello. When I reach the shrine, I find Lukako standing alone in the courtyard. She's dressed in regular clothes instead of her Miko garb. She still hasn't noticed me. Lukako stands in the silent courtyard. The only movement comes from the trees swaying in the summer breeze. It's like a scene from a movie. I stop and watch in fascination. Finally, Lukako turns around. Oh my goodness. What is the... No. I just want to make sure I get this right. Yeah, okay. Shift. Did anyone else get kind of spooky vibes when this came up here? This sort of weird little smile and the just blank stare in the face. I feel a bit weirded out here. I do not... I don't have good vibes going into this scene here. Our eyes meet. I awkwardly clear my throat and walk toward him, her. Lukako bows her head.
来てくれたんですね。
You came.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. We stare at each other in silence. There is no way this goes well, at all. Crap, this is awkward. I can't stand the silence, so I try to start the conversation.
マユリに何を話した？
What did you tell Mayuri?
すみません。でもこんなことマユリちゃんにしか相談できなくて。
Sorry, but Mayuri-chan's the only one I could talk about this.
どこまで話したのかという意味だ。
I mean, how much did you tell her?
ほとんどは内緒にしました。マユリちゃんが死んじゃうっていうこととかも。
I kept most of it a secret, especially the stuff about her dying. That's a relief.
まだ冗談だと思っているのか？
Do you still think I'm joking? Lukako shakes her head. She believes me.
大事な話というのはにゃんだしょうかにゃ。
You said you had something important to talk about? Yeah. Uh-oh. I think Okabe's been, infected. It's spreading. Yeah, I'm trying to be gentle, but for some reason I wind up talking like Ferris. I really don't know how to deal with Lukako now that she's a girl.
あの
Lukako takes a deep breath as if to prepare herself. Her face is turning red for some reason. She opens her mouth to speak, then closes it again. This continues for several cycles. What's wrong with her? Her tension is getting to me. My heart starts pounding like an alarm bell.
僕は
I...
お
yes?
お願いが
Want to ask?
うん
Yes?
岡部さんが昨日言ったこと
Okabe-san, about what you said yesterday.
お
Yeah?
信じます
I believe you.
そうか
That's great. So she's willing to go back to being a guy even though I hurt her feelings? For her to believe me in spite of that makes me pretty happy. But something strange about Lukako. She still looks wound up pretty tight. In fact, it's gotten worse. Now she looks on the verge of tears.
それで
So, well,
男に戻る代わりに
in exchange for becoming a guy again. In exchange? She wants something in return? I wasn't expecting this.
今日と明日
For today and tomorrow.
まゆりちゃんが危ないことになる前まででいいですから
We can stop before Mayuri-chan is in danger. What? What is she talking about? My throat goes dry. I'm so tense and I don't know why.
だから
So,
になってください
please be my...
よく聞こえなかったんだがもう一度頼む
Hmm? I couldn't hear you. One more time. Lukako's voice was even softer than ever. So soft that I couldn't hear her from here. Please be my end. How mysterious. What could a end be? Ah, I see, just a bend. Please be my bend, of course, yes. Well, that seems reasonable, Okabe. I think you can be her bend. No good, I still can't hear her.
はっきりと言ってほしい俺にできることなら何でもするから
Speak up. I'll do anything I can.
恋
Boy end. Buoyant. She wants you to be buoyant. I see. Well, I think we can handle that.
なんだって
What?
恋人になってください
Please be my boyfriend. What? Boyfriend? Boyfriend? It takes me a while to process the word. Meanwhile, Lukako starts squirming and fidgeting. She refuses to look at me in the eye. My heart is pounding. What's going on? What did she say to me? Boyfriend. Boyfriend. She wants me to be her boyfriend until tomorrow. What?
なぜだ
Why? Without thinking, I ask the worst possible question. Lukako curls up even smaller.
好きだからです。
I like you. Her voice is as small as the buzzing of a mosquito, but it has all the courage she can muster. I feel my heart tighten at those words. Silence. More silence. Wait just a second. This is too sudden. I mean, maybe it's not sudden exactly. I've known about Lukako's feelings since yesterday when Kurisu told me about the romance flag. But still, I didn't think it would come to this. My mind goes blank. I can't think straight. Lukako hangs her head, waiting for an answer. She looks so cute and innocent, and I feel myself drawn to... No. No. That's wrong. That's just wrong. I am not attracted to Lukako.
考えさせてくれ。2分。いや、5分だけ時間をくれ。
Let me think about it. Give me 5 minutes. I turn and flee like a scared rabbit. I'm so embarrassed I can't look back. Okay. Well, I think we're pretty much done for the day. We did a lot. Wow. I gotta say, my thoughts aren't exactly clear right now since it just happened, but my initial reaction is, boy, do I not like this situation. I do not like what is happening here. I think Okabe said it several times himself, that this feeling of awkwardness, it's just, yeah, this is... It's gonna take a little bit to sort of unpack this, I feel. So, maybe, let me think about it till next time, because there's a lot going on. Well, okay, let's ignore that last scene here until next time. But one thing I will say, I'm somewhat curious, and of course they might answer this in the future, so you know, if they do, don't tell me. But of course, this whole situation that we're in, where, well, we've just had it confirmed that Lukako has romantic feelings for Okabe. It of course raises the question of that, well, whether or not, how to phrase this? What were the feelings of boy Lukako? I'll say that. Was it, because I think I can recall early on in the story when we met Lukako and had a few scenes with him, with the boy Lukako, one way I could see their relationship being is that of Lukako being a sort of shy, introverted young guy, and Okabe was a sort of, at least from Lukako's perspective, Okabe was a kind of outgoing, older guy who was able to put himself out there and almost acted as sort of like as a mentor to him. And so maybe Lukako saw that, and so it seemed to me, or it seemed like it could be something almost like admiration, where Lukako admired Okabe for being able to be himself. Now, of course, that's not the whole story, because we know that Okabe is really not being himself. He's just putting on a character. And Lukako knows that too, but even so, even if it is just a character, Okabe is still able to go out and interact with others, where it seems that Lukako is very much unable to do that. He's extremely shy, extremely introverted. And so we got that whole thing where Okabe instructs him to use the Samadare, and so maybe it's something like Lukako admires Okabe and is glad to, be in this sort of mentor relationship with him. Now that's how it seemed at the beginning, but now we've had this sort of bomb dropped on us, and so you have to wonder, could it have been more than just admiration that was involved there? I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know if the game's going to tell us. It might just be something that they let us try to figure out and don't give us a definitive answer on. But regardless, I think I'm going to leave it there. Next time we'll probably maybe talk a bit more about what's going on at the end there, and because it's just, I just feel off after that. In any case, feels good to be back in town after more than a week away. I know there were several times where I was thinking, man, I need to record or upload something today, but luckily, I had a few episodes recorded already, so good to be back. I hope you're all right, and I hope to see you next time. I've been the Warm. This has been Steins Gate. Have a good one.